The alien hunt begins. But Earth is watching. The jungle was dark, wet, and alive. Captain Zorvac stood at the edge of the alien ship's ramp, breathing in the heavy air of Earth. Around him, his hunting team prepared their weapons. Tall, armored, and covered in blue scales, they looked like beasts themselves. Each one carried an energy rifle, sharp blades, and scanner visors. They were proud hunters from the planet Carthun. They had hunted on 100 worlds. And now, it was Earth's turn. "This world smells like weak prey," said one of the soldiers with a laugh. Another kicked a muddy rock and said, "I heard their biggest animal is something called a bear. I want its head." The crew laughed. They had studied Earth. No energy weapons, no planetary defenses, just soft animals and even softer humans. Zorvac raised his hand. "Remember, we're here to test Earth's strength, hunt its top predators. Bring trophies. If this world is weak, the Empire will claim it." They marched into the jungle. Tall trees, thick vines, insects buzzing. The sky above was cloudy, and the jungle floor was slippery with wet leaves. Hours passed. They found a wild boar. It died in one shot. A panther leaped from a tree. It was caught in midair and stunned. A snake tried to sneak through the underbrush. It was burned instantly. "This is too easy," one alien muttered. "This place is not a challenge." But then, something changed. At sunset, they set up camp. A circle of tents, motion sensors, laser fences, everything by the book. But one of them, Riklan, went to gather samples near the river. He didn't return. "Maybe he got lost," said another. "He has a tracker," Zorvac growled. "Bring his location up." The screen blinked. Riklan's signal was still active, but it wasn't moving. 2 hunters were sent to find him. They came back pale. "There's blood," one said, "but no body." His rifle was snapped in half, like a twig. "What did this?" Zorvac asked. "We don't know. No heat signature, no tracks, just silence." That night they heard the first scream. It came from the trees, sharp, wet, cut off. Everyone jumped up, weapons drawn. Was that Riklan? No. That voice was too deep, too human. The jungle fell silent again. Suddenly, the sensors went offline. Then the lights. Zorvac barked, "Activate backup." No power. Then they saw it. Claw marks, long and deep, cut right into the side of their ship. "This wasn't an animal," said one hunter, trembling. "It knew where to strike. It went for our power source." A figure moved through the trees, fast, almost invisible. One hunter fired, but hit only leaves. They tried to scan the area, but the visors gave static. Zorvac clenched his fists. "We're being hunted." By morning, 2 more were missing. The team now stood close together, weapons always ready. "This is wrong," whispered one alien. "We are the hunters. We are elite." But fear had entered their minds. Fear of the unknown, fear of the jungle. One hunter checked a broken camera feed from the night. He replayed the footage again and again, and then he saw it. Just one frame. A figure, human, wearing leaves, covered in mud, eyes sharp, watching from the trees. He wasn't running. He wasn't scared, he was waiting. Zorvac stared at the image. "That's not a villager, that's a warrior." "Should we call the Empire?" one asked. "No," Zorvac growled. "We kill it, we kill whatever this thing is." But deep down, even he was unsure. That evening, they tried to lay traps, plasma nets, electric spikes, bait. But the traps were triggered. Then nothing. One trap was disarmed. Carefully, like someone had studied it. Night fell again. The jungle came alive with strange sounds, calls, howls, even voices that mimicked alien speech. "They're playing with us," someone whispered. Movement, blades drawn, but it was just a monkey. Then a rustle, and a body fell into the camp. It was one of their missing hunters. His eyes were wide. His mouth was stuffed with earth leaves. Carved into his armor were the words, "Prey." One hunter started crying. Another dropped his weapon and ran into the forest, never to return. Zorvac looked up at the dark sky. then at the deep forest that stretched forever. This was not just a jungle, it was a battlefield, and Earth was not prey. Something else was watching, and it was smiling. Predator turns to prey in Earth's jungle. The morning came, but it didn't bring safety. Captain Zorvac stood beside the burned campfire, staring at the body they found last night. The word prey carved into the soldier's chest armor still echoed in his mind. One of his crew, Jorik, whispered, "Sir, permission to leave. We don't know what we're fighting." Zorvac turned sharply. "Denied. We are not cowards." But even his voice lacked power now. 3 soldiers were gone, the jungle was too quiet. The birds didn't sing, the insects weren't buzzing, and that silence, it felt like it was waiting. They moved deeper into the jungle. Weapons raised, eyes scanning. Their scanners picked up something, movement. But when they followed it, nothing. Was there then another signal behind them? The whole squad spun around, again nothing. "Are we chasing shadows?" one whispered. Zorvac barked. "No, something is toying with us, testing us." He was right. They were no longer hunters. They were being watched, herded, like animals into unknown ground. They walked in a tight group for hours. The trees were growing thicker, the air hotter. Then one alien, a quiet scout named Lore, stepped into a clearing. Snap! He didn't even have time to scream. A giant net pulled him high into the trees. Then something cut the rope. His body fell, broken, in front. Of the group, it wasn't the fall that killed him. It was the metal spear driven into his back. An old Earth weapon. "Where did they get this?" one alien shouted. "Who still uses stone traps and metal spears?" Zorvac knelt, pulling the spear from Lore's body. It had human letters carved into it. The word read, "Return." Later that day they found bones. Not alien bones, human ones. But strange. Some were clean, lined up neatly, with marks showing old surgeries and implants. The bones had been placed with care, almost with respect. But others were torn, broken, chewed by something big. "We're not the first to come here," said Zorvac. "No," another answered, "and not the first to lose." They walked further, crossing a muddy stream. Then suddenly, screams. 2 aliens in the back were pulled underwater by something they couldn't see. Bubbles. Blood. Nothing came back up. Zorvac opened fire on the Yia. Water, trees, everything. But the jungle swallowed the noise. Only the stillness answered. Night came again. They built their camp in a tree canopy this time, off the ground, traps all around, motion sensors on every side. Yet in the middle of the night, one of the traps beeped. Zorvac jumped up, weapon ready. The red light blinked fast. Something was there. But when they rushed to the trap, it was empty. Except for one thing, a single boot print. Human. Barefoot. Perfectly placed. Deliberate. Underneath it, carved into the dirt. "I see you." That night, nobody slept. Even the bravest kept their weapons aimed at shadows. The next morning, they found their own. Ship, marked. Not damaged, not broken, but painted in blood. And across the metal surface someone had written, "Earth doesn't breed prey. It makes predators." One alien panicked. "We need to call the Empire, now." Zorvac looked at the words, at the ship, at the trees. Then he looked at his team. Half of them were gone. One by one. Silently. Without a chance to fight back. He finally said the words he never thought he'd say. "Send a signal. Tell them. Earth is hostile." But as they powered up the signal dish, it exploded. From the trees they heard a deep human voice. Calm, clear, close. "No one's coming for you." The aliens aimed their guns but saw nothing, just leaves. Then a growl came from behind. Not human, not animal. A shadow stepped forward. It wasn't alone. Predators, real ones, wolves, panthers, beasts of the jungle. but walking in silence. Walking with a human. And the look in his eyes. He wasn't scared. He looked like a man who had lived in this hell for years. The human gave one short whistle. All the beasts froze. And the aliens? They realized too late. They were not on a mission. They were in a test they had already failed. A human appears, and he's not alone. Captain Zorvac no longer walked like a proud hunter. His steps were slow, careful. Every crack of a branch made his hand jump to his rifle. They had lost 5 soldiers in 2 days. Now, they were not looking for trophies. They were looking for a way to survive. But Earth wasn't finished with them. Not yet. Something is leading the animals, said Turek, the youngest in the group. Zorvac looked at him. Animals don't make plans. Turek shook his head. These ones do. He pointed to the forest floor. Footprints, large, heavy, human, and beside them, paw prints. From different species, tiger, wolf, even something reptilian. They're not wild, Turek said. They follow the human. Zorvac knelt and touched the prints, still fresh, minutes old. They're close, he whispered. He was right. They moved forward, slowly, weapons ready, sweat on their necks. Suddenly, movement on the left, a flash of brown skin, mud camouflaged, eyes cold and sharp. A human. The aliens opened fire. The jungle lit up with energy blasts, but the human vanished like smoke. He was testing them, not attacking, not hiding, just showing he was near. They chased him. Hours passed. They found no blood, no trail, only marks on the trees, carvings, simple shapes, a wolf, a bird, a skull. Is this a warning? One alien asked. No, Zorvac said. It's a map. He was leading them, and they were following. Night came again. Their lights wouldn't turn on. Something had drained the power packs. How? Turek panicked. They weren't even touched. They lit torches. Old fire. Primitive. Then, out of the trees, came howling. Not one beast, but many. The sound echoed from all directions. Then silence. Then, a voice. Human. Calm, male. You shouldn't be here. Zorvac raised his gun. Show yourself. No reply. Then, a figure stepped out. The same man they had seen earlier. His face was painted in mud, his hair tied back, his body lean but strong. He wore pieces of old Earth tech, military armor, scavenged parts, even alien metal fused into his clothes, a knife on one leg, a long spear in his hand. He looked like the jungle itself had built him. Zorvac aimed. You're outnumbered. The human smiled faintly. I'm never alone. From behind him, shadows moved, eyes blinked in the dark. Wolves, panthers, even strange mutated beasts, all silent, watching, waiting. Zorvac stepped back. The human said only one word. Leave, Turek shouted. Why are you doing this? The human's expression didn't change. You hunted for fun. So now, the forest hunts you. He stepped back, melting into the dark. The creatures followed. All of them. Without a sound. The next morning, one of the soldiers tried to flee. He never made it far. They found his body hanging from a tree, unharmed, but asleep. A note was tied to his chest in rough handwriting. I could have killed him. I didn't. Leave now. Zorvac finally said the words his pride wouldn't allow before. We need to leave this planet. But the ship is damaged, said another. We'll walk if we have to. But Earth didn't want them to leave, and the human? He wasn't going to make it easy. Hours later, they tried to retrace their path to the ship, but the jungle had changed. Paths they remembered were gone. Trees were different. Even the sun's position didn't match their time charts. We're trapped, someone whispered. And just then, the howling returned. But now, it was closer. Too close. A blur rushed past. Something growled behind a bush. Weapons fired in all directions. No target, no hit, just panic. Zorvac yelled, "Stop!" Silence. Then a small ball landed at their feet. It rolled once. Beeped. Then it projected a hologram. A human woman. Young. Crying. Speaking. English. "Please, and if anyone gets this, they're hunting us. They don't die like normal. The message cut. Zorvac stared. The human wasn't just a survivor. He was a ghost from some past war. Trained. Left behind. Forgotten. But not dead. And now he had made the jungle his home. His weapon. And the message was clear. Leave Earth. Or die. Like prey. One by one, the hunters vanished. Zorvac no longer marched like a warrior. Now, he just moved. Step by step. Carefully. Silently. There were only 4 of them left now. 4 out of 10. And Earth still wasn't finished. The jungle had grown thick. 2. Thick branches seemed to move on their own. Roots twisted up from the ground, grabbing ankles like hands. The vines hung like nooses from the trees. But the worst part? The silence. No birds, no bugs, not even wind. Only the sound of their own breathing. Then a snap. One soldier turned his head. Too quickly. "Who's there?" Nothing. Another crack. Behind them. Everyone spun, weapons ready. Still, no target. Just the trees watching. Zorvac's voice was calm, but heavy. "Stay together. Eyes forward. No one breaks formation." They moved again, 5 steps forward. Then one soldier, Varnak, stumbled. He vanished. No scream, no flash. Just gone. The group turned around. There was only his gun. Still warm. Still glowing. But no blood, no signs of struggle, just gone like a breath in the wind. Later, as the sun began to set, they found something strange. A clearing. In the middle, there was a campsite. But not alien. Human. A tent made of old Earth military cloth. Rusted tech. A pot still hanging over cold ashes. And a wall made of bones. Animal bones. Alien bones. Human bones. All arranged. Like art. Zorvac looked at the center. There, on a stump, sat something he didn't expect. A helmet. Not human. Alien, Carthun military model. His kind, old, cracked. Blood dried on the inside. It was from a past hunt. A failed one. They were not the first to come here. Zorvac touched the helmet gently. Then he saw it. Scratched into the metal in English. "Your kind came before." They didn't listen either. Zorvac felt cold, even in the heat. He stood, looked around, and said, "We leave, now." But it was already too late. That night they made no camp. They just kept walking. And then, one of the soldiers screamed. Zorvac turned fast but saw only trees. The soldier was gone. Again. This time they found blood. A trail, not much, just enough to make them follow. The trail led them to a wide tree. On the trunk, scratched with sharp claws, were symbols. 1 claw mark for each lost hunter. There were now 7 marks, and 3 of them still stood. Suddenly, one of them, mech roll, collapsed. Poison dart. Small. Silent. Human-made. He gasped, eyes wide. Zorvac caught him, but it was too late. His lips moved barely. Eyes in the leaves. He's watching, smiling. Then he stopped breathing. The other soldier dropped his gun. "We're cursed!" He ran into the woods, shouting. Zorvac didn't stop him. He just listened. There was a scream. Then silence. Then laughter. A human voice. Low. Cold. Close. "You never learned. Earth isn't weak." Zorvac was the last. The only one left. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He just sat, down on the ground, alone, surrounded by jungle. Waiting. Minutes passed. Then hours. Then the human stepped from the trees. No weapon in his hand, just calm eyes and the animals behind him. Zorvac looked up and asked, "Why?" The man tilted his head. "You came to take what was never yours. You came with teeth. But this planet bites back." Zorvac lowered his head. "Then finish it." But the human didn't move. Instead, he turned and said, "Tell your empire. Tell them to never return." And with that, the jungle swallowed him again. Zorvac was left alive, alone, haunted, and now he understood. Earth didn't beg for mercy. Earth didn't kneel. Earth didn't breed prey. It bred predators. And now, he would carry that warning home. If he survived. They tried to burn the forest burned. Back Zorvac stood alone. One soldier, one survivor. Surrounded by green walls and shadows that breathed, his body was bruised, his mind was breaking, and still, he was being watched. He activated his final distress beacon. A flicker of light blinked weakly on his wrist. No signal. No reply. No hope. The jungle had blocked their tech, eaten their machines, and buried their plans. Zorvac's heart burned with anger now. Not fear. Not yet. He had one last plan left. If he couldn't kill the predator in the shadows, he would burn the whole jungle to ash. Using plasma fuel from his broken pack and a few firebombs stored in his belt, he began his revenge. He splashed liquid. Fire over the trees, he laughed. "This is what you deserve, Earth." He lit the match. The flames roared up into the sky, swallowing trees, vines, and branches like hungry mouths. Birds screamed and fled, smoke twisted into the air like black ghosts. He watched with wide eyes, proud. "This will draw a rescue ship," he muttered. "Or kill that human ghost." But Zorvac had forgotten one thing. This was Earth. And Earth doesn't forgive. The wind changed. Fast. Too fast. The fire spread sideways, then backwards, then toward him. The smoke was thick, the heat unbearable. Zorvac ran, but the forest wasn't just burning, it was fighting back. A branch fell in front of him, burning red. Behind him, a tree exploded from within, its core loaded with alien tech now reacting to the fire. He coughed and stumbled. Then a voice came through the smoke. "You burned what gave you mercy." Zorvac turned, squinting. The bay. Human stepped through the fire, untouched. His face was calm, his skin painted with ash. Behind him walked animals, burned, bleeding, but not broken. They didn't run. They walked like soldiers. The jungle wasn't running either. It was rising. Roots cracked from the ground and wrapped around Zorvac's legs. He screamed. Tried to shoot, but the gun was jammed. The roots pulled him down, slow and cruel. He felt fire creeping toward his feet. The human raised one hand, and the fire stopped. Just like that. The roots released him. Zorvac collapsed, burned, shaking, sobbing. "Why?" he whispered. "Why don't you kill me?" The human stepped forward, placed something in front of him. It was a data pad. On it played old footage. Alien soldiers laughing as they hunted Earth's creatures, kicking them, skinning them alive. Taking photos, Zorvac turned his head away. "I wasn't part of that." The human said nothing, he just looked at him. Then he spoke. "But you came anyway." The fire now moved around them like it was listening. It didn't touch the animals, didn't touch the man. It danced in a circle, a message from the planet itself. We are not weak. We are not alone. We are not prey. Zorvac looked up at the red sky, eyes wide with horror. His voice broke. "What is this place?" The human answered, "This is Earth, and Earth remembers pain." Far above, a satellite from the Carthun Empire picked up strange signals. Brief flashes of heat, movement, and a single message: "Do not return. This world belongs to its own predators." Back in the jungle, the human turned away, leaving Zorvac with the smoke, the silence, and the truth. He had started the fire. But the fire didn't destroy the jungle. The jungle had survived, and now, it remembered his face, captured by a human. "Why did you come here?" Zorvac woke up in pain. His wrists were tied with thick vines. His armor had been stripped off. He was lying on cool stone inside a dark cave. The air smelled of ash, earth, and blood. Above him, sunlight poured through a crack in the cave ceiling, lighting the space like a spotlight. He could hear water dripping somewhere. He was alive, but he was not free. Then he heard footsteps, not loud, not rushed, calm, confident, human. The man entered, the same one who haunted the jungle, the ghost in the trees. But now, Zorvac saw him fully. He wore no helmet, no fancy armor, only layers of thick cloth, handmade tools, and gear that looked both old and powerful. His eyes were sharp, his face, scarred but peaceful. A scar ran from his jaw to his shoulder, and another crossed his eyebrow. He didn't speak at first. He simply crouched near Zorvac and placed a steaming bowl of cooked meat near him. Zorvac stared. "You're feeding me?" The man replied softly. "Even predators feed their prisoners." Zorvac whispered, "Why didn't you kill me?" The man looked him in the eye. "Because I want to know one thing," he said. Zorvac swallowed. The man's voice dropped. "Why did you come here?" Zorvac hesitated. He looked around. The cave walls were covered with carvings, stories painted in ash and mud. They showed the sky, ships, aliens, fire, death, and then humans standing with beasts beside them, fighting back. Zorvac finally said, "We were ordered to test Earth, to judge if your world could be taken." The man's jaw tensed. "And?" Zorvac answered, "It can't." Silence. Then, the human asked, "How many other planets have you tested?" Zorvac's voice broke. "Too many." The human stood and walked to a metal crate. Inside were alien weapons, some crushed, some cleaned, all collected. Zorvac stared. "You've done this before." The man nodded. "You're not the first group sent here." Zorvac whispered, "What happened to the others?" The human didn't smile. He didn't frown. He simply said, "They didn't listen." The human sat on a rock across from him. "My name was Elias," he said. Zorvac blinked. "Was? I left that name behind a long time ago. After your kind killed my unit. After your scientists called us weak prey. After you skinned animals alive for sport." He leaned forward. "Earth is not just a planet. It is a memory. It remembers pain, and it remembers who caused it." Zorvac lowered his eyes. I didn't do those things." Elias nodded slowly. "But you came anyway." A few moments passed. Then Elias said, "There was a child, years ago, alien child, from one of your warships, left behind, scared. I took her in." Zorvac looked confused. "You helped her?" Elias nodded. "She called me uncle. And when her people returned to finish the war, they killed her." Zorvac shut his eyes. Elias's voice dropped low. "So I stayed. I trained. I built traps, studied beasts, learned their language. I became what you never expected. A human who doesn't run." Zorvac whispered. "Then, what now? You'll torture me?" "No," Elias replied. "You will live, you will return, and you will carry a message." He walked toward Zorvac and leaned in close. His words were slow, clear. "Tell them Earth is not prey. Tell them Earth has teeth. Tell them the ghosts of this jungle are real. And we are waiting." Then Elias untied him. Zorvac was too shocked to move. Elias stepped back. "Go. Go, before the jungle changes its mind." Outside, the jungle was quiet, but Zorvac could feel the weight of every leaf, every tree, every eye watching him. He didn't run. He walked, slowly, carefully. Every step carried the weight of a message, one that would shake the empire, one that would whisper across stars. Earth doesn't need armies. Earth is already armed, with beasts, with nature, and with humans, who never forget. The last alien sends a message: don't ever come to Earth. The Carthoon battleship floated silently above, the edge of the solar system. Inside the command deck, high-ranking officers waited for a report. It had been many cycles since the hunting team was sent to Earth. No word, no signal, no trophies. Until now, a single shuttle broke from the darkness, burned, half-broken, limping across space like a wounded bird. Inside was one alien, only one, Zorvak. The last. The medical drones scanned his body, broken ribs, burned skin, signs of poison, infection, and dehydration. But he was alive. Barely. The officers gathered. What happened? The admiral asked. Zorvak opened his mouth, but no words came. His eyes were hollow. His hands shook, not from pain, but from memory. He didn't speak until they were alone. He was given 1 hour to record his full report, and when he did, his message wasn't long. It wasn't proud. It wasn't a victory speech. It was a warning. The recording began. Zorvak sat before the camera, armor removed, clothes torn. His voice was low, raspy. If you are watching this, turn away. He looked into the lens, and for a moment, the officers could see the fear behind his eyes. I know what we were told, that Earth was weak, unprotected, a planet of prey. He paused. We were wrong. His hand reached out and placed a small object before the camera, a human-carved spearhead, scorched, but intact. The humans are still there, he whispered, but they are not alone. He closed his eyes. They live with the wild. They lead it. They are ghosts in trees, fire in the dark. And if you go again, his voice broke, they won't just kill you. They'll let the planet decide what you deserve. He leaned closer to the camera, his final words. Earth does not beg. It remembers. And it hunts. Don't ever come to Earth. The screen went dark. The admiral stared for a long time, unmoving. Then he said, file the report under high threat level. Cancel all operations involving Earth. And then, in a rare moment of silence, the command deck stood still, not from orders, but from respect. Because deep down, they believed him. Far away on Earth, Elias sat on a high branch looking out over the smoking trees and rising sun. Beside him, a hawk rested quietly. Behind him, wolves waited. Below him, the jungle pulsed with life. He held a carved stick in one hand. Just a simple mark. One survived. He listened. Elias smiled for the first time in years, then vanished into the trees again, a shadow among shadows. Because Earth didn't need an army. It only needed to be remembered.